I think right now a lot of people are being cast based on their following instead of their skills.
You're right.
So this is really limiting to a lot of aspiring actors who actually got skills, but they are not that known yet.
Welcome back to another episode of the SHURE Game On podcast. And today, joining me, my co-host, Ryden, and we have a very special guest today. Today's guest is someone many Singaporeans first met on the big screen, portraying the unforgettable Wayang King in the Our Boys to Men franchise. But behind the charismatic performances and action-packed roles is a man who is constantly evolving as an actor, entrepreneur, and father.
He's more than just a familiar face in entertainment. He's a storyteller, a former stunt performer, and a dedicated martial artist. He's trained in Muay Thai and boxing at Evolve MMA and even stepped into the ring for his first ever boxing match at the Ring White Collar Boxing event.
Maxi, welcome to the show, man. Thank you so much for taking out your time today. I know you have a very busy schedule. First of all, how are you?
My pleasure, yeah, and great to be on this show, man. Thank you for having me.
Let me start with some questions I have from very long in my mind. I want to ask a lot of things. But before I start that, right, I want to say something. I moved to Singapore 10 years ago.
Okay.
And the first thing I fell in love was with Our Boys to Men and your part into that. And I went for the premiere where you were there with your whole team.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was
Wow.
there. And it was my first experience. And I bring this whole movie to Pakistan, to my country, and show to my whole family that how the Singapore staff, Singlish, and all the fun stuff, everybody loves their asses out there.
Thank you.
So since then, I know about you. Yeah. So my question is that how you end up in this acting of your career, how you started it, what makes you drawn into that?
Well, actually, it all started because I was pursuing a diploma in interactive media from Temasek Poly, and I was doing my NS. And at the point of time, I was about to finish my NS, so I thought that probably I'll continue pursuing a degree in filmmaking. And because I got like a relevant diploma, therefore a degree would take 2 years instead of 3. So I was thinking of doing that. Then the opportunity came for me to be like a stuntman. So I thought that why not?
Stuntman?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And get paid doing stunts, and let's see where this goes. So I was doing stunts for a while, and there were always like people on set who asked me to go for auditions.
Nice.
And without any acting experience, but however I knew like what a director would want. So I just go for all these auditions, and I always got the role. So yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity to observe like how directors work, yet getting paid as an actor. So I thought that instead of, going for a degree which I have to pay for my fees, why not I learn on the job and get paid?
That's the best way to learn, honestly.
Yeah,
That's the
and,
best way. Learn on the job.
We know that this industry doesn't really look like at your qualifications. It looks more for your portfolio. So I was doing that for a while, and eventually, thankfully, and very blessed, I got my break in A Boys to Men.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Can I add on something?
Yeah.
So when you say you started as a stuntman, right?
Yeah.
So like, what kind of stunts? Is it more like fight scenes? Are you like really like falling off buildings like Jackie Chan? or like
That's a very good question. For stunts, there are different stunts. So there are stunts which I need to be like held up by a rope, that kind of stunts, or fight scenes. So why I was casted, because I had a little bit of martial arts background. So when I'm acting with someone who's an actor, I could pull my punches, or let's say if I can hit by accident by like a real punch, I could take the punch. So I think all that came in handy.
Was it painful?
Sometimes.
Did you break any bones?
No.
yeah,
It was all like done very safely.
I mean, Singapore is more safe in terms of the stunt work. Based on what I understand, in the film industry, they don't really want you to do very, very dangerous things. Because one of my experience actually, I'm not sure if you know Aloysius Pang.
Oh yeah. I mean, I knew him in person.
So I worked with him once, and he did his own stunts.
Yeah.
Right. It was the Young and Fabulous. You remember that movie? 最佳伙伴.
Oh yeah.
The cosplay one, right?
Yeah.
And then he had to I think jump down from the second floor.
Oh.
Right. And wow, I was standing right beside him because I was a grip on the set. And then when they jumped, even with the cables, right? Wow, my heart dropped.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Major props, man. Seriously, for stunts.
Yeah, man.
Tough job, man.
Okay. So, right, most people will know you as Wayang King from Our Boys to Men, right? So, would you say that was your big break? So, how has that changed your life and career since then, after getting the Boys to Men gig?
Well, it was kind of surreal at first because initially I couldn't like walk 5 meters without anyone stopping me and taking pictures. Yeah. Then what came after was for the next few years after like A Boys to Men, I was kind of like stereotyped. So initially I didn't really like it. But on hindsight, I thought that, hey, at least I'm being remembered for something.
Yeah.
Because a lot of actors, we grind through like so many years, but we are not remembered for anything. So at least I'm remembered for something. Then, but after a lot of years of playing similar characters, not just in A Boys to Men, but on other productions, I decided like, there was a time where I joined Evolve in like 2015, but it was in 2017 which I decided to do like a body transformation. And it helped because I could open myself
nice
for
body there.
a better one, I hope.
Okay, anyway, guys, for context, right? So Maxi and I knew each other from Evolve MMA, where I used to work. That's how we met each other. Yeah. So when you say stereotype, right? When you said you couldn't walk 5 minutes without people stopping you, how often did you hear your famous catchphrase? My secret is no secret.
Actually, I hear it every day.
Even now? Seriously? Oh my god.
And the funny thing is, the irony of that is that I'm actually the heaviest smoker of the whole cast.
Whole group.
I'm not advocating smoking, but since I'm not afraid to say it. But I usually don't do it in front of children. So whenever I'm smoking and people just come up to me, I thought your secret is no secret. Yeah.
But what my perspective of your personality was always been A Boys to Men until I met you a couple of weeks back.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how it changes, right? Like what you put in the acting, and then how long it stuck with you, that thing, that character in your career.
So like how long the role sticks to you, is it?
I mean, even till today, I get it a lot. Like people would come up to me and say, wow, we don't expect you are somebody like who you are in person. I've always thought that, you'll be someone who's like nerdy or speak or talk in a very high-pitched tone. So I guess kind of I did a good job when I did the character. Yeah.
So what have been the hardest challenge or toughest challenge so far in this industry you faced so far?
Wow, that's a very good question. I think if I can answer this question correctly, I think it's one of the challenges. I think I can name a few, not just for me, but for actors across the board.
Okay.
I think right now a lot of people are being cast based on their following instead of their skills.
You're right.
So this is really limiting to a lot of aspiring actors who actually got skills, but they are not that known yet. The other thing that I feel across the board is people are being cast based on their physical appearances or like based on their past work. So for example, after I said I was being typecasted. So right after A Boys to Men, I was kind of like playing nerdy roles or similar characters for a while. So it's kind of sad because like this is a creative industry.
Yeah.
I would thought that the people in charge of the creative industry should be creative as well, but they tend to cast people based on their physical appearances and following or past experiences. But you can still do something about it, Like I said, you can change your appearances, upgrade yourself. So, yeah. So for like, if I can give a piece of advice to people who are like aspiring actors, I think try to do more social media so you get a decent following, so it helps your work.
Yeah, I mean,
it helps to get the chances of getting casted.
Yeah, that's a very nice way to put it, what you said, because we are also in the content creation agency, not in the acting side and all these things, but definitely having this following is nowadays so important than having a talent. Yeah, but talent speaks for itself.
Yes.
That's for sure. But yeah, you're totally right there that a lot of people look into, how many followers do you have?
Yeah, especially clients.
Yeah, and then on the top, which platform pays the more? Like, okay, first of all, they go see first thing Instagram. Okay, but let's say if I have like millions of followers another place, they don't come. They come in the Instagram. Okay, how you know how many followers you have?
Basically, the more numbers you have, then the more opportunity you get.
Yeah, it's a sad truth of the industry.
Yeah. So it's kind of sad sometimes because like numbers don't transition to like viewership.
Yes.
Ultimately, I feel that craft would always, with correct marketing and miracles would transit to like watchability.
Yeah, that's true.
As you said, like the typecasting and being cast as a nerdy, but based on your own like acting resume, you have taken on a lot of other roles, right? Like I know you've acted in student films as well, right? And I know you before Our Boys to Men, you actually acted like evil characters also, right? So basically you have played both serious and comedic roles, right? But which role do you feel most connected to?
Oh, good question. I don't have a preference towards comedy or serious roles. So this is how it goes for me. Whenever I get a character, I'll be like heavily invested on that role. Yeah. And sometimes after the whole project is done, it's a little bit hard to get out of character for a while. So I'll be that guy for a few months. Yeah.
So would you say you are a method actor?
I was actually.
You're a method actor, right?
Yeah. So when I did the really dark roles back in the day for a lot of short films, I think to date I've done almost 100 over short films. Yeah. And some which have went to festivals.
Yeah. I'm aware.
So for those darker roles, I do fall really sick after the shoot has wrapped.
Wow.
Yeah, that was how deep I went into character. But it gets a lot of it got a lot better like these days because I'm able to like afterward I'm able to just turn it off.
So is it true that when they say that, okay, for example, you heard the script that, okay, this is my script, this is what I'm connecting, that you need some time to merge yourself into and think about this and get into that role? Like people say like sometimes they train for a month or two to get into that feeling and the role of it. Is it true in that your scenario as well?
I think for example, I did like an autistic role before. Maybe I can show you guys later.
Sure.
So I was spending time with the person that I was playing because it was based off a true story.
Oh, okay.
So I was spending time with him to get into character. So it depends. You know, some characters I need a little bit more time, but some characters I maybe don't need so much time. Yeah. But I'm someone that tend to do really bad for auditions.
Okay.
It's only until the cameras are right in front of me, then I do a way better job. Yeah.
All right.
Actually, it's very true, right? Like a lot of people, there's this misconception. I feel like a lot of people think acting is easy, right? Oh, you get all the limelight, you get all the fame afterwards.
It's not easy.
But really, like just based off someone who has actually been on production sets before, it's really not easy, bro.
I can't even memorize a single line or sentence. I get so much hard time to just memorize one sentence.
But I mean, if you look at the prep time, like you said, to prepare for the character, right? Like you know how Heath Ledger prepared for Joker and everything like that. I think it is tough, man. It is not easy, guys, acting.
Actually, acting is easy. Yeah.
Is it?
But acting is not simple. Yeah. Because as an actor, you don't need to just know your lines. You need to know your co-actor lines. You must know how to favor the camera. You must know how to play with the lights. So it is easy. Basically, you're just there to say your lines. But it's really not simple because there's so much things happening. You're walking around, you're saying your lines, you are digesting your co-actor lines.
That's someone quote that put it up as a poster.
Oh, really?
No. I mean, your line can be taken to put it up as an acting class poster. You know,
Yeah.
Man, okay, that makes sense. That
In
makes
fact,
sense.
because if I were to know you guys, if I spend more time with both of you, I think I can actually cast you guys for roles.
Ooh.
And because if I know you, I will know how to direct you. So I will always say that anybody can act.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes non-actors are even better because it's always very raw.
Very
That
raw.
means the acting is sincere. So sometimes for actors, over so many years, they become very jaded. They stick to a certain craft. But for non-actors, the acting is always very sincere, very raw. Yeah.
Can we have some free classes?
Gotta ask my boss. Yeah.
I want to improve my craft.
So for example, for the cast of Our Boys to Men, we all came from different walks of life. We got a YouTuber, we got like a break dancer, maybe a Ge Tai singer. We all came from different walks of life and with no acting background. So I think this is like the perfect example of like they do not have any acting experience, but yet we can make such a wonderful product.
Nice.
Okay, so we're talking about acting, right? So in acting, I feel like it's a lot of reacting to like what you said, your co-worker's line, right? Genuine acting, good acting is all about reaction, right? That's what I've learned because I used to be an animator, right? Animator, you need to animate the acting.
I was an animator.
Hey, what?
Yeah. Like you have to put like the light box and draw.
So I did that. Mine was 3D animation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
but almost the same, right? You have to draw the facial expressions and everything. It's the same. So it's all about reaction, right? And about facial expressions, body language and everything. So for you, right, how has there been any occasions where that alone is not enough, right? And you have to use your voice, the audio of the film to portray the emotion across to the audience?
Obviously, I wasn't that eloquent when I first began, either be it in Mandarin or English, but I improved over the years. And since that, right now I'm doing like the J-Team acting boot camp.
Yep.
I've always emphasized on using your voice. So I've always told my students, when you're at home, don't just memorize your lines and whisper when you're rehearsing. You have to speak it out.
Yep.
Because it becomes muscle memory. So when you are doing your blocking or walking around acting, you might forget your lines. So if you're always like projecting your voice and memorizing your lines, if you forget what to say, but it become a muscle memory. Yeah. And for acting wise, I think a lot of people are kind of, especially like newer actors, like obsessed or overly concerned about facial expressions or how they deliver their lines. So I would always tell like my colleagues or my students, like, don't be too focused on your facial expression. Try to listen to your co-actor lines. So if you're listening and digesting what they're saying, the expression is usually more or less correct.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, because sometimes they would, should I frown? Should I look away? No, just listen to your co-actor lines and you would
Respond to that.
So it's reacting, natural reaction.
Yeah. I always feel that a lot of newer actors are very concerned about crying scenes. Like there's a misconception that if I'm able to cry on cue, then I'm a good actor. Then I remember director Jack has told me this before. If you can't cry on cue, doesn't mean you are a bad actor. If you can do a sad scene and make the audiences cry, you'll be a notch better than actors that can cry on cue. Yeah.
That's good. One thing I always wonder, I think I've asked this question previously in one of my podcasts also. When you do the shoots, then you have to do the voiceovers and the lip sync. How the hell on earth you lip sync the thing with your own
ad lib, like ad lib? Because I think is it what you mean is like they.
So when they shoot you, sometimes you shoot outdoors and all this, the audio is not good, then you have to go to the audio studio to do it, right? How you match the exact same expressions with your voice and then it looks perfect?
Oh, because this is done in a studio.
Yes.
Whereby they'll play the footage back and you try to say it on the mic and match your footage. So you'll do a few tries.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is why sometimes you can see it's actually, you can tell it's being ADR, but it's still very accurate because we are trying to sing with the mouth movement.
Okay. I've tried that. I can never able to lip sync my own self, man. Cannot. It's just impossible.
Is it tougher though? Because is it tougher to do ADR? Because like it's more of your voice to match with your facial expressions from the video, right? So is it tougher to recreate that same expression because you're only using your voice this time, right? If that
It's
question
like
makes sense.
emotion, how you bring that emotion into it. Like let's say, okay, we have a footage now of you like angry, right? Then you have to lip sync that thing with the same emotion in your voice.
Voice acting basically,
voice
right?
acting.
Is it tougher?
I think you can. I bet everyone has seen like how actors like, especially for animation.
Yeah.
So you always do it with the movement. So you gotta do with that movement in order to bring out the character. So I think doing with movement a little bit, it helps.
Right. Oh yes,
And thankfully
that's why they
have not done very too hard ADR. Usually my audio is quite okay.
professional right there. Professional.
Your voice always been like so good, or you practiced it?
I think over the years my voice did change a bit.
Okay.
It became like lower. I used to be a little bit more high pitched.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds quite nice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, even like,
I think
in
it feels
normal
more
conversation,
projected,
it's like-
right? It
I
feels
mean,
more projected.
Sound man has always said, hey, you have got a very good voice, a very strong voice.
I'm saying that I'm thinking like if I have to project my voice like that, right? It would sound so good in the videos, reviews, and all that.
It's here.
Yeah, it's actually from the diaphragm.
It's
You
here.
provide practice for that, classes for that.
Keep asking for classes.
I want to learn from the best. What's wrong about it?
I think, over time doing a lot of work, it helped.
Okay, so you have done. I mean, clearly I've known you from Evolve, right? So I know that you did Muay Thai and boxing back then, and I know you did martial arts previously also to lend you the stuntman role. So how has all this? Because combat sports is basically all about discipline, right?
Yeah.
So seeing that you are a long time martial artist, how has martial arts helped you change or shape the way you look at work and your life?
Well, I think the first benefit is that I get to do my own stunts. So just recently, I think right now I have a TV series that's on TV right now every weekday. It's called Provocative. So there was this day I had to do like a fight scene, and I reached the set, and there was this guy. They were telling me, "Hey, Maxi, this is like your stunt double to do your fight scene, because in this fight scene I'm wearing like a mask." I'm like, no, I can do my own stunts.
Wow.
And they were like, "You sure?" "Yeah, I'm sure." So I did it, and they were like, "Oh, shit, you can really fight." I was like, "Yeah." I always do my own stunts. So that's obviously the first benefit. And as an actor and as an amateur athlete who has taken part in a few sanctioned fights before, martial arts has helped in a lot of ways, because during a fight, I can't have any other problems. I need to face my problem face on, because right now my problem is in front of me. This opponent is trying to take my head off. So in a sense of being in fights before and knowing that I have to face my problems head on, I think this has transitioned very nicely in my life. So I'm someone that I don't shy away from my difficulties. So no matter how hard life is, I have a lot of ups and downs, I always try to face it head on.
But it also brings discipline in your everyday practices or whatever you're doing as well.
And knowing martial arts is like, it gives you a sense of discipline to show up, to do your job well. Yeah.
Okay.
And just for the record, I've seen him train.
I've
boxing,
seen
right? After every training, right, there is no dry spot on him. They go all out on this guy. All out on.
Bro, earlier today, I was going through your Instagram one more time to understand a little bit more. I came across your photo.
Okay.
The shirt off, like pose, abs out. How old was that? How old that
Did
photo
he have
is?
green hair in the photo?
Yeah. That's the one, that's the one.
That was
the weigh-in for the Maki fight. That was, I think, in probably May 2023.
2 years ago, right?
Yeah,
I think
2 years
ago.
already.
Exactly 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was once, not in a very good stage in my life, and I thought that, you know what, signing up for a fight is the best way to get my life in shape, get my mind and body, in shape. So that's why I took up the fight, and it took about 5 months. I was only purely doing Muay Thai all these years at Evolve.
Oh.
So I started to learn boxing in order to join the white collar fight. Yeah. So it took about 5 months of slowly, dieting and eventually like cutting water. So I was fighting at 60 kilograms. By the weigh-ins, wow, I cut too much. I was like 58. So therefore, I was like really ripped.
I see.
And just to give you a bit of an understanding, so basically for fights, right, they will fight in the weights, right?
Yeah.
So if he's 60 kg, his opponent must hit the same
60,
weight.
yeah.
They can't be heavier or lower. So if he's heavier than 60 kg, he has to do everything in his power before the fight to
Yeah, I
reach
saw
that
some
weight. Yeah.
the MMA fighters. They go in the room, wrap them up, and then sweat the whole night and all this, and loses a number of kgs within like one night, right?
It's quite scary sometimes.
It is.
Honestly.
It's very
It is quite
dangerous,
scary.
also, I guess.
It is. And I remember on the day of the weigh-in, I checked my weight on the scale in the morning, and I was like 63 kilograms. I was like, oh my
no.
God, I have to cut 3 kilograms and the weigh-in is tonight.
Wow.
So I wrapped myself in layers and layers of clothing, and I went for a run. And when I came back, wow, I managed to cut 5 kilograms.
What
Wow.
the hell, bro?
Yeah, I was
5,
58. Yeah. So I took a few like ice cubes because I couldn't drink water,
Water
yeah,
will give
there's
you-
water weight.
yeah, water weight.
So I just took a few ice cubes and I decided, okay, I'm in shape right now. And I looked in the mirror, I was good, I had all the pecs. So I wanted to intimidate my opponent. Also, I want to show that I'm in better shape.
I wasn't aware of that, man. Oh my god.
No, yeah.
Because we were there for your press conference with the guy, and then I was there for the ringside shoot as well. But I did first time hearing about that situation today.
Yeah,
oh my god.
it was scary, man. Because I was 3 kilograms away, and 3 kilograms is not easy to cut.
Not easy.
Yeah.
Not easy.
Yeah.
So the ring white collar was your first like official fight?
No. It was the first time I was, because the 2 other fights I did.
It was fight night, right?
Was like
Evolve.
Indoor fights.
Yeah.
In-house fights.
Yeah.
And this is the first time I was representing Evolve out of the gym.
Right.
So yeah.
How was it? Just very briefly, okay. Like, how was it like from start when you got the announcement that you're gonna fight, all the way up to fight day, mentally?
Okay, initially I thought I was gonna fight like an expat. Yeah, because it's white collar, and most of the ethnicity for the white collars, they are mostly the Angmos. So I thought I was gonna get probably like a white opponent. Then the organizers told me like, hey, Maxi, because you're fighting at so light, and most of the Angmos, they're like kind of like much heavier than you. So if you are okay, why not you fight our coach? I was like, okay, I'm like way too invested to back out now, right? And the coach, seems to be quite a nice guy. So I told myself it's too late to back out. I'm too invested in this. I've told everyone that I'm going to be fighting in May. So yeah, just do it. So I think at the point which I signed up for it, I was still kind of like fat, But on the way in, I think the organizers, they were also kind of like impressed by the shape which I got myself in. I was really like ripped. So yeah, I think it speaks a lot. Like, end of the day is showing up, You don't want to look like you're not professional or not serious. So when you show up on weight, in good shape, it reflects well on your gym and for the event.
Yeah, I think that he was damn ripped that time. It was, it was damn ripped.
Yeah.
Okay, so touching on like social media now, right? So nowadays, social media has taken over the world basically, right? So everything is about like what you guys mentioned just now, following, lending you opportunities and all that stuff. And social media has also shortened people's attention spans, right?
Yeah.
Like TikTok,
Yeah.
Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. Do you think social media is changing the way that people watch movies?
Good question.
How do you feel about this shift?
I think not just social media like Instagram Reels or TikTok, but since the arrival of streaming platforms like Netflix, Disney Plus, Prime, it has really changed like the entire viewing landscape for audiences. So because of that, unfortunately also, and I'm not representing anybody when I say this, it's purely my own personal thoughts. I feel that local cinema and TV, is kind of like a dying medium. Because people want to go home, and if I want to see a particular show, I don't have to be at home at a specific time in order to watch a show. I want things on demand. So all these things has changed, I feel that audiences right now, they don't really watch TV, local production that much, or local cinema. And it's kind of sad because like initially there are a lot of laws from like the government. They are set in place for good at first, so that Singaporeans could speak proper English, not smoke on TV, and maybe like promote certain family values. That is why we have so much restrictions when it comes to filming. But all this, over the years, it has like hindered the growth of television and production, because audiences would know that, come on, man, somebody who has gone through a certain thing wouldn't speak like that. Let's say for a character, if you are a gangster, you wouldn't like behave in a certain way. You just need to be there and smoke. You have a certain sense of feel. Yeah, therefore it has really diluted the quality of like certain characters. Yeah, when people are watching television. So it has come to a point whereby I feel that our neighbors, like for example Malaysia, has really surpassed us so much. Be it on like content creation, be it on television and movies, they got way better quality production.
Yeah,
out
I
there
recently
right now.
watched this a few months back. I watched this one Malaysian movie. I don't know if you guys heard of it, called Sheriff.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's basically about the corrupt police system in Malaysia, and then the cops are the non-corrupt cops are trying to stop the corrupted cops. And I was first time watching a Malaysian movie. I was very impressed actually.
Yeah.
The production value I saw, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, acting debatable, acting wise debatable, but just production value, I think it was quite impressive for Malaysia standards.
I'm not too sure if you have heard this, but I'm also not sure how accurate is this information. I've heard that in Singapore TV, you can't show a policeman dying.
Oh, yeah. I'm not aware of that.
Yeah,
I'm not
you
aware
can't
of
show a
that.
policeman dying.
I just know, oh, wow.
The what I know is like many countries have many kind of restrictions based on the country and culture, right? So sometimes they want to they cannot show this, cannot show that, and
Yeah.
all these things. Some countries are like totally free to do like whatever they want to do. But you're right. Wow, but it's interesting.
He's right about one thing. Singapore has a lot of restrictions because
Yeah, man.
I used to love to shoot action films.
Yeah.
And it's all about prop guns, right?
Yeah.
And I have to get a
Oh, yeah,
license
of
from the police first before I can start
I mean,
shooting.
we can't even fly drones most of the places.
Yeah,
Like,
we can't.
it's,
The whole area is a no-fly zone. This whole area also is a no-fly zone.
Yeah.
Because we used to review the DJI drones and everything. We cannot bring it outside.
So I think at the other hand, if we see, I think whatever people or government puts the restrictions, of course, there's a purpose behind it. Not anyhow they put, but it will be sometimes it can be lenient but it works based on each country, right? Based on that, is there any recent things you have learned in your recent span of a time, like 2 years or 1 year? You wish that now that you wish you would known that like when you were 20s.
Okay. But before I answer your question, I think in Singapore, all these restrictions are set in with good intentions.
Yep.
Small country.
Yeah. Like not showing like policemen dying or people like smoking. But I feel that ultimately all this has hindered like our progress when it comes to making films. And audiences, they don't want to like watch things that are so safe. They would rather like go on streaming platforms and watch something that is more realistic. Yeah. So I'm not sure if you guys know that. I think back in the 90s, like even China come to observe how Singaporean TV is done so that they could bring it home and replicate it. You know, we were that good before. So it's sad, man. I just hope that, you know, perhaps some way, somehow, things can change so that we can grow because it has been stagnant for so long.
Yeah.
And it's
Proud
sad,
of
you
our
know.
own local production.
Yeah, I'm saying this because I'm genuinely sad that we are behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to answer your question, like if I could give myself an advice in my 20s, I felt that when I reached my early 30s, I'm 38 this year, when I was like maybe 31, 32, I felt really, really stupid compared to my peers.
Okay.
Because all this while in my 20s, all the way to my early 30s, I was always in my bubble of being like, you know, I thought I was someone famous. So there's a lot of things I don't have to do. There's a lot of things I don't have to learn. A lot of risks which I feel that I don't have to take. Then I realized, hey, wow, my peers, they know a lot of stuff. And all I knew was just acting. So if I could turn back the time and go back to my 20s, I'll tell myself, go and make as much mistake as you can.
To
go
learn.
and take as much risk. Set up a business, go fail at it. Do this, do that. Yeah, you'll be so much better. And failures or setbacks can ultimately just improve myself as an actor. Going through all the highs and lows. Yeah, so you have always so much data that you can just go back and use it for the acting.
Yeah. Well, whatever experience teaches you, it definitely in your industry and in your profession, I think it helps a lot to come into that character when you have gone through something.
Yeah.
I think it becomes easier as well, and you become very experienced doing that also.
As compared to using imagination to approach a character, I'm using my real life experiences to portray someone. So it comes very handy.
Naturally, and naturally comes out as well very good. Yeah, that's good.
It's like they always say, right? What was that phrase? Failure is the ladder to success. Or in
the
Chinese
mother
is in Chinese is what? In Chinese is 失败
是成功之母。
correct. So basically, it's like failure is the mother of success.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the failure is the mother of success. Correct.
How to say in
correct.
Chinese?
失败是 failure，是成功之母。something like that.
失败是成功之母，对。
Okay,
correct.
I definitely cannot repeat that.
Basically, it literally translates to failure is the mother of success.
Okay,
Right? Because you just learn from it, like what
definitely
you
from
mentioned.
experiences and all that.
Yeah. Okay, so as a creative myself, right? I'm not an actor, but a filmmaker, animator, and everything. But many creatives, right? We deal with imposter syndrome. You know what that is?
Yeah.
You know imposter syndrome, right?
Yeah.
So, someone as established as yourself as an actor, do you face that problem as well? And if so, right, do you have any advice to people on how to deal with it?
Very good question, because throughout my career, nobody has ever asked me that before.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Because imposter syndrome is something that
Yeah.
I personally go through a lot.
Oh.
Yeah. So like I've been in this industry for like what 10 years,
Oh, nice.
right? Yeah, and it's sometimes I'll be like setting up lights and I'll be like, why the light not nice? Like, do I suck that much? You know, on lighting this scene or stuff like that. So if I feel that way, I'm pretty sure many other people feel that way, right? As a creative, especially.
I think it is healthy to be critical of your own work so that you always observe and achieve a certain kind of standard. So for my case, I'm always very critical of my work. So sometimes people say that, Maxi, you did such a good job. You killed the role, this is such a good thing. But inside my heart, I knew I suck at this thing. Yeah, this was a shit job. I did a terrible job. Just because it did well in the box office or on the viewership or ratings. But when I look at this, I know, I did a bad job. So, okay, in that sense, I'm critical of myself. So I'm always seeking to improve.
Correct.
But in my initial years of an actor, whenever I got casted for a role, there's like a nagging thought. So that, this thought would say something like, Maxi, you got this job because they couldn't find anybody else.
Okay.
That's why you got the role.
Oh.
But over the years, as my confidence grew, I decided to have like a mindset shift. So I'll tell myself, instead of like, they couldn't find somebody else, they found me because I'm the best for this thing. Nobody can do it better than me. So when I come on set, I decide to throw all the self-doubt away. I've already been through so much. So if I'm here, that means I'm destined to be here. I'm supposed to be the guy playing this role. And this has helped so much.
Yeah, you have to be positive,
So you
right?
gotta own the scene. Yeah. You have already prepared. I've already prepared. I'm coming here to kill my scene.
Nice. I have one more last question. That looking back everything you have done so far, right? What's the one lesson that stuck with you through it all?
If there's one lesson I learned, being an actor, you need to have one attribute. Despite all the talent and hard work, you need to have this one attribute. And this attribute is to be able to wait. As an actor, there's a lot of waiting time.
Okay.
So a typical day would be me waking up early, going on set, waiting for my turn to do the makeup. And then once the makeup is done, waiting for the transportation to come. And then waiting for the rehearsal. And then once you're rehearsed, waiting for everybody to set up the cameras.
The lighting, everything.
Yeah.
Acting again and waiting again because it could not... Maybe the next scene is not your scene. So you have to wait again for your colleagues to finish their scene. And after a whole day of waiting, maybe then is your scene. Then you wait again. So there's so much waiting time. And after like a whole production is done, probably you gotta wait again for the next call up. Like, hey, there's an audition or there's like... So if you want to be an actor, you really gotta be able to wait.
You have to be very patient.
Yeah,
about
gotta be patient.
everything. Okay.
On set and off set. That is why, like, over the years, I decided to expand, not just be an actor. Like right now, I'm also doing like funeral services. I'm also setting up a company, which I'll be launching in the next few months. I haven't announced yet. Yeah,
Okay.
something new. So
Are we getting sneak peek here?
Huh?
Are we getting sneak peek here?
Okay, let's do it. Let's do
Oh
it.
my god.
Yeah, actually, I'll be opening up an interior design company. So look for me, man. If you need renovations, I got you covered. I try to
Hey, you guys heard it here first.
yeah, this is the first place you should have announced. Yeah. So I think when it comes to services, it's something which I'm always very keen. And although I've never been like an interior designer myself, but it's something which I'm very willing to learn. I want to, how do you make this office or home like so different? You
Yeah.
are solving somebody else's problem, making their vision come to life again. So that is something which I'm very keen and like curious to explore.
Nice.
So yeah. So if I was to say, to wrap it up, like to be an actor, you must be able to wait. Yeah. And when you're waiting, please go find something else to do to make your time like valuable and worthwhile. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, because the gigs are always coming on and off, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes
man.
you'll be packed like crazy, and then sometimes you have like downtimes.
Yeah. When you're
for
busy,
months
it's
on
crazy
end.
busy.
Yeah.
When you're down, I could be jobless for months.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good initiative as well, that you're doing some other things which also relates to creativity as well, like as you mentioned about this business as well. So I mean, your creative mindset, whatever experience you have, then you will take it for the next level
Yeah.
to do it. Because hopefully you'll be acting forever.
Thank you.
We would love to see you on screen a lot of times. But yeah, I mean, always have to have some side hustles here and there to keep yourself a little bit distracted from the main thing as well.
Yeah,
I think it's a good idea.
Because too much of something is always not good. So I try to do different things to keep the mind fresh.
Okay. Okay. So I'm very thankful today. I mean, we have learned a lot of things, actually. I mean, this podcast, I was waiting for a very long time already. I wanted to meet you in person also. We did meet for a short period, but
unexpectedly.
Unexpectedly. That's a long story. Share sometime else.
Yeah.
But I mean, seeing you 10, 12 years ago on the screen, and then seeing you in person, meeting you.
Which one was it, by the way?
I think it was the first one.
Wow.
Yeah. Our Best to Men one. Yes.
Wow.
That was crazy, man. That was so much. That's where I kind of fell in love from the Singapore culture, the Singlish, the army thing, and all these things. That's when I bring it to my brothers and I show them, see, everybody have to go to army to do all these things and all that. And we were like, wow, it's amazing. So meeting you in person today, talking and learning about all these things, I actually really, you shared quite a lot of stuff, which is very, very helpful, especially in our industry when we are in the front of camera also. That's why I'm trying to pick up the small things what you're doing and how you're doing and your voice and all this. So it definitely helps. So
it's been very, very insightful actually. I really love your advice on the imposter syndrome one.
Yeah.
Never thought of it that way. Just putting it out there. So thank you for that, man.
Yeah. So any new upcoming talents and all these things, right? If they're looking for advice in simple one sentence or one word, what advice you will give them?
To aspiring actors, I'll say in this modern landscape, try to build on your social media. Don't just focus on acting. Try to do content, especially funny ones. Yeah, that helps to build following because clients do really look at numbers more than your talent.
Yeah.
That'll be one advice. And if you are like an aspiring actor, you gotta be like a glutton for rejection. At my low stage, I went for like 20 auditions, which comprising of like TVCs, films, movies. It was a really low point in my life. 20 auditions, no callback. And who knew the next audition I went for would be A Boys to Men. So you never know. Your breaking point could be just like
just
the
keep
next
trying,
one.
keep
You
trying,
can't give up.
Can't give up. That's great advice. So if you guys want to know anything more or you have questions for Maxi, as many as questions you have, throw it down in the comment section. We will happy to ask him those questions too and then reply you guys for that as well. I will say thank you so much for taking out your time today.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll see you next in the other podcasts also and lifestyle videos and a lot of things.
Collab. For sure. And shout out to SHURE.
Oh yeah. Shout out to SHURE for arranging this as well for us. And anything we need to say?
Anything you want to promote like on your socials, anything you can say to this camera over here or where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, follow me on Original Maxi on Instagram, and my ID company would be called Maximo. So keep an eye on it. Yeah.
One question we forgot to ask: what is this? Eat
Oh
Bro.
yeah, guys. Wait, this. Okay,
I need to know about this. What's the Eat Bro thing?
Okay.
Should we say the story? We were supposed to wear the same shirt together.
Yeah. I mean, we're supposed to wear this thing.
So this is Eat Bro in collab with Year of the Monkey, right?
Yeah.
So this is Maxis' own merch line, and I'm wearing it today, as you can see. Let me turn around a bit also.
Okay.
If you can see.
Yeah. Well, team.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. So what is
Eat Bro.
Eat Bro?
Okay, for this t-shirt, this time I'm collaborating with YOTM. So they are up and coming like a fashion label here in Singapore. So previously Eat Bro, I did it with Flash Imp, which is also a Singapore label. So long story short, Eat Bro is like a nickname. It's also become like my fight name. And it's also something which I say is kind of like a slogan,
That's why I saw
so
one
if
of
I
the
see like
real-
you doing something good, I'll probably like comment on your IG like Eat Bro.
Eat Bro.
With the bicep, something
Okay.
good. Yeah.
Okay, so you guys can see the link where you want to, if you want to buy for yourself.
YOTMstore.com.
Mine is on the way. So sorry, I didn't get it in the start. Yeah, but very nice quality though.
Yeah, it's actually very nice to wear.
It's
bro.
very simple,
Yeah,
very nice.
it's
I like
good
the-
quality, and I did like the.
It's a we all
the
like
higher
you
collar.
see, okay, so our cameraman behind also wearing like this kind of collar shirt. No, it's a bit higher.
Does
it's
he
nice.
have a
it's
Ipro
nice.
tee?
Yes, he has.
Oh, you have
I
already.
never wear
Okay,
also
good,
today.
good. No complaints.
Okay. Anyways, okay. Thank you so much for taking the time out, man. Like it was a pleasure speaking with you. Very insightful. I think many good advice, especially. Yeah. So thank you so much, man.
Thank you, man. I really enjoyed this podcast. It's the first in a long time.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
for
there
me.
will be many more.
Okay.
See you guys. Bye bye.
All right. See you guys.